Hello, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Videosyncratic, and you are watching the third episode of my series exploring the origins of the many symbols used to represent the different nations of Europa Universalis IV. Over the previous two episodes, I have covered the flags of the British Isles, and so over this one and the next, I am going to change things up a bit and tackle the flags of the formidable post-colonial nations which can appear if their conditions are met. As with the previous two videos, I will pin a table of contents in the comment section below, so if you want to skip the rest of the introduction, then go right ahead and do so. In EU4, these post-colonial nations can be formed by any breakaway colony which owns land and has their capital located in the relevant area. In total, there are 16 possible colonial nations, and so I intend to cover 8 in each episode. It could be argued that 2 of these are special cases, but I am still covering them now anyway. I think it should go without saying that many of these nations are rather anachronistic for the time frame EU4 takes place in, with some not really coming into being as a fully independent nation until nearly a century after the game is supposed to end. As a result, many of these are true nation-states, and use real flags, many still in use today, rather than the heraldic devices seen so far. As this is a flag I am sure nearly everyone watching this video will be familiar with, I'll begin with the flag of the United States of America. In short, the flag used in EU4 is that adopted through the Flag Resolution passed by the Second Continental Congress in 1777. This flag, known as the Betsy Ross flag when the stars are arranged into a circle, is a direct predecessor to the modern US flag with 13 instead of 50 stars in the blue canton. This was in use for 18 years until the star count was increased to 15 in 1795 to represent Kentucky and Vermont joining the Union. As for symbolism, both the 13 stripes that alternate red and white and the 13 white stars represent the original 13 colonies that originally banded together to pursue their independence against Britain. While the number of stripes has remained consistent since its inception, the stars have since increased in number to represent the admission of new states into the Union, although these have not always remained on equal pairing. The colours were chosen by Charles Thomson, Secretary of the Continental Congress, based on their traditional meanings in heraldry. These meanings are hardiness and valour for red, purity and innocence for white, and justice, vigilance and perseverance for blue. In addition to this, I hope you agree that red, white and blue generally works really well as a colour scheme, hence the number of flags using it. An additional element of symbolism accounts for the choice of blue as the field colour for the star-bearing canton. In the instance of the American flag, this canton is actually called the Union. The colour blue was likely chosen to represent the colour of the night sky. As an early documentation, this element of the flag is frequently described as a new constellation of stars, representing a new nation formed through a union of its individual states. I will now move on to what is probably the most obvious odd one out of this episode, Haiti. Believe it or not, it was seeing the flag Haiti uses in-game that made me want to tackle the post-colonial nations so soon. This is because it is quite unusual, almost unbelievably so. From the irregular shape of the canton to the use of purple, a colour rarely seen on flags, at first glance I honestly thought that it was not based on any real-life design. However, it turned out that it is actually based on a real flag, used briefly by the French colony of Saint-Domingue, the immediate predecessor to an independent Haiti. The flag was adopted, although imposed may be a better word, in 1791 and only lasted for 7 years, being replaced in 1798. The origin of the flag relates to a character named the Marquis de Caradaux, who arrived on the island in 1791. The Marquis claimed to have plenipotentiary powers, allegedly granted to him by the French Assembly itself. As part of his powers, he imposed this newly designed flag on the island and proclaimed that it was to be used for all of the nation. Unfortunately, that is all that I could find on this flag, so the detail of why it looks the way it does will sadly have to remain in the long gone head of the maverick Marquis. Another flag nearly contemporaneous to the in-game one is the revolutionary flag of Saint-Domingue, which was created by Jean-Jacques Dessalines leader of the Black Rebels and later Emperor of Haiti. This was created by taking the French tricolour and removing the white band. The colours of this flag are still seen in the Haitian flag today. The flag used by the formidable nation of Louisiana is directly based on the flag of the state of the same name, albeit on a previous version and with a few alterations. More specifically, the flag in EU4 is based on the so-called Pelican flag of 1861, but with the text removed. As with so many US states, Louisiana apparently couldn't resist the allure of having writing on its flag. Regardless, the flag depicts a mother pelican feeding her 3 chicks, using her own blood on an azure field. The modern flag can be differentiated from the 1861 version by the use of multiple colours, the earlier one having the animals all in white, identical to the one used in-game. In Christianity, the pelican has a long-standing association with motherly love and devotion, dating back to at least medieval Europe. It was believed that, during times of food shortage, a mother pelican would wound her own breast to feed her children using her own flesh and blood. This misconception likely came about from observing pelicans pressing their bills against their chests in order to fully empty their pouch. Regardless of its origin, this imagery was conflated with the Passion of Jesus at the Eucharist, and when shown in heraldry, is generally referred to as a pelican in her piety. The flag used by Texas is based on the flag used by the Independent Republic of Texas, which is still used as the official state flag of Texas today. The flag features a single white star on a blue field occupying 1/3, with the rest of the field being divided into 2 horizontal bars of different colours. The presence of the single star has given rise to the nickname of the Lone Star State, currently used on Texas license plates and being generally emblematic of the independent Texas spirit. The symbolism is made explicit in the Texas Flag Code. The colours follow typical rules of European heraldic symbolism, so blue represents loyalty, white represents purity, and red represents bravery. The Flag Code also explains that the Lone Star represents the unity of all of Texas. In its own words, it is one for God, state, and country. While these meanings are laid out clearly in the Texas Flag Code, some of the elements of the flag may be older still. For example, the white and red bars may originate from the flag of the Republic of Fredonia, a short-lived rebellion that began in late 1826 but was quickly quashed by Mexico. Despite its short lifespan, the experience of Fredonia influenced the later revolt of Texas, and so its flag was likely inspired by this. The flag of Chile is very similar to that of Texas, although the Chilean flag actually predates the Texan flag by 22 years, as it was first adopted in 1817. The Chilean flag will be seen again soon when I cover it in greater detail, alongside the rest of the flags of South America in the next episode. The flag used by California is based on the flag used by the California Republic, the independent state that briefly existed in 1846 after breaking away from Mexico and before its absorption into the United States. This flag depicts a lone red star, a single red band, and a California grizzly bear on a white field. Unsurprisingly, this is referred to as the bear flag and was first used when it was raised in front of the Sonoma Barracks, which became the headquarters for what would later be known as the Bear Flag Revolt. Like the flag of Louisiana, the in-game flag of California has had its writing removed, likely to make it broader in scope as to what it can represent, and also to make translations easier. As far as I'm aware, none of the symbols used in EU4 have any text on them whatsoever. The modern state flag of California is based on this historical flag, although the bear is now directly modelled on Monarch, the last California grizzly bear in captivity, and possibly the last individual of that now extinct subspecies. While perhaps being the most anachronistic of the post-colonial nations, Australia is formable in EU4 nonetheless. The flag it uses in-game is very different from the modern flag of Australia, as it is instead based on the so-called Eureka flag, used by the Eureka Rebellion of 1854. As a result of this use, it has become associated with democracy, egalitarianism, republicanism, and an all-purpose symbol of anti-establishment, non-conformist protests throughout Australia. It may have been based on the earlier Australian Federation flag from the 1830s. According to one interpretation, the 5 stars represent the Southern Cross, a very common motif on the flags of the Southern Hemisphere, while the white cross joining the stars represents unity and defiance. A similarly anachronistic Anglosphere nation is Canada, which, although it confederated only in 1867, long after the typical EU4 campaign ends, can still be founded regardless. The maple leaf is a long-standing symbol of Canada, used at least since 1834 and described by Jacques Vigue, a mayor of Montreal, as the king of our forest, the symbol of the Canadian people. The 3 joined maple leaves are seen today on the Royal Coat of Arms of Canada and seemingly first appeared in 1868, albeit in different colours. The leaves were originally green to represent youth, as it was believed that red leaves symbolised old age and decay, but later were changed to red to match the national colours of Canada. Additionally, when appearing in 3s such as here, they are actually highly stylised, as maple leaves do not grow out from the same sprig. Unlike a number of other flags discussed so far, the flag of Quebec is not based on its current flag, which in turn is based on the Carillon flag of 1902. Instead, the flag Quebec uses in-game is the Patriot flag, a green, white and red tricolour flown by the Patriot movement since at least 1832. The flag was officially adopted by the Republic of Lower Canada, a breakaway state proclaimed after the Rebellion of 1837. The Patriot movement coalesced in what was then called Lower Canada, broadly corresponding to present-day Quebec, around the frustrations of the population at the lack of responsible government. The flag resembles a number of other flags, but perhaps most tellingly, the British Republican flag, which predates the Patriot flag by a number of years, originating in 1816. While uncertain, one theory of its symbolism relates to the representation of the various groups of people in the territory at the time, the green representing the Irish, the white representing the French Canadians, and the red representing the English speakers of Lower Canada, nowadays generally referred to as Anglo-Quebecers, amongst other names. Somewhat similar to Australia's Eureka flag, while it may no longer be used at a national level, it is used by a number of political groups and has a general association with the contemporary movement for Quebecois independence. Unfortunately, a variation of this flag, which features the profile of a stylised Lower Canada rebel, is also used by a few ultranationalist and nationalist groups throughout Canada. Those are the origins of half of the post-colonial nations you can form in Europa Universalis IV. I hope you will join me for the next episode, where I tackle the post-colonial flags of South America. I believe I have covered all of them, but I may have missed a few, so if I have missed any then please get in touch so I can cover it later. Thank you so much for watching the video and for staying long enough to hear this part. If you enjoyed the video then please leave a like, comment, subscribe and especially consider sharing it, as it really does help grow the channel. I also would like to apologise that it has been quite a while since the previous instalment. Hopefully my upload schedule should be more regular for this series in the foreseeable future. Finally, if you would like to stay more up to date with what I'm doing and what I intend to bring to the channel, then please consider following me on Twitter. You can also get in touch with me via Twitter if you would like to talk about something. Once again, thank you so much for watching and for your continued support. I hope to see you in the next episode, but until then, I hope you have a good time. Ciao!